Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So in this video, we'll try and understand what are the various GST exemptions for educational institutions. Now, all GST exemptions under the GST law is brought out in notification number 12/2017, which was brought out way back in 2017 itself, which has a lot of entries pertaining to each sector and talking about the exemptions applicable to that sector. One such entry is entry number 66, which talks about GST exemptions for the education sector. And you have three main exemptions for educational institutions. Of course, we'll understand what an education institution means under GST. But for now, the first major exemption for an education institution is basically that any services provided by an education institution to students, faculty or staff, any service could be educational services, it could be catering, it could be transportation, it could be lab usage services. On all these kinds of services, there is no GST which is applicable. That's point number one. The second one is basically that education institutions also provide their space to conduct the entrance exams for students to come there and write. For that, they charge entrance fees as a consideration. On this entrance fees, this education institutions will not charge any GST. In other words, on entrance exam services, GST is exempt. Number two. Number three, you have specific type of services, be it cleaning, transportation, security, catering. For these specific type of services, if it is provided to an education institution, of course, there will not be any GST which is applicable, but only for these specific services. So having explained these and understood these three types of exemptions, it is now important for us to know what an education institution means under GST. So under GST, an education institution is basically an institution providing education up to preschool level, up to higher and higher secondary, that is basically 10+2 grades. Any educational course or institution providing education so as to obtain an Indian legally recognized degree is also included in the definition of education institution. So preschool, 10+2 and anything to obtain a legal Indian recognized degree. So which basically means that a private coaching institution which only gives guidance and coaching and not give you a degree under Indian recognized degree is not exempt under GST, it is taxable. Foreign degrees, if you talk about commerce, you have CPA and ACCA and you have coaching institutions and other institutions providing these courses. Well, because it is a foreign degree, on these courses, GST will definitely be applicable. You have certain schools run by the central government, by the state government or guided by the central or state boards providing education. Definitely GST is exempted for these kind of education institutions. Boarding schools per se, because the principal or the primary element here is providing education services, which is exempt. And the secondary elements would be accommodation, boarding, food and other services. But because the principal element is providing educational services, which is exempt, services provided by boarding schools are outside the purview of GST, so GST is exempt for these kind of services. Distance educational services. Any institution providing distance education with the primary objective of giving an Indian legally recognized degree, like IGNOU for example, is also exempt under GST. Specifically for the Indian Institute of Management IIMs, where you have long duration courses more than 1 year, on these courses for the IIMs, GST is exempted only for these long duration ones, but not for the short duration ones. Talking about other services, well, we did speak about specific services like catering, security, transportation and cleaning. But if you have an auditor doing the audit or the consultant appointed as a consultant doing consultancy services for the school, on their bill to the school, they will definitely charge GST because it is not an exempt service. Similarly, on rental services being provided by a landlord, whether he is going to charge GST or the school paying GST on reverse charge, GST will definitely be applicable because it is again not an exempt service. Coming to registration. Now, if you have an education institution which is wholly involved in the supply of education services, which is exempt or purely exempt services, then registration is not required. The school or the education institution need not take a registration. But if you have an education institution providing not only educational services but also involved in the sale, supply of books, sale of shoes, uniforms and other items as a part of education, then definitely, because these are taxable services as well, registration is required because you're not only providing 100% exempt service, you're providing partly exempt, partly taxable services. Well, I hope I was able to make things clear through this particular video. If you like the video, you could show the support to us by hitting the like button. If you want more videos like these on a regular basis through way of notifications, you could also think of hitting on the subscribe button. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and thank you.